Hi, I'm Rebecca and welcome to Solve Your Own Problems. In this video, we are going to talk about how to respond to people in your life that are passive aggressive or covertly trying to insult you, especially people that you have to deal with on a consistent basis, like family or coworkers or bosses, anyone that you have to have a positive relationship with, but they make it a little bit difficult because they're always making passive aggressive comments towards you or saying things that are meant to make you question yourself or your confidence. And the reality is, people do this for a reason. They are looking for a reaction from you. There are many different reasons why people might be passive aggressive, and we don't need to get into those for this video, but it really kind of throws you off. And that's a lot of the times what they're looking for, is for you to be thrown off, for that power dynamic to shift. And it throws us off because when someone says something passive aggressive or rude or insulting, it breaks the social norm, that kind of formal rule that we have that you just be kind to people. So they've already broken the social norm. And the great news is, if they've broken that, you can too, by saying something equally as unsettling back. And you don't want to be ugly with it. You don't want to stoop to their level, but you do want to try and break that cycle of them feeling like they can get away with saying something passive aggressive to you, and it throws you off so much that you don't respond in that moment in a way that neutralizes that kind of cycle. Typically what happens is we're so stunned that we're just quiet, and then later we stew on it, we think about it, we distress over it, we get frustrated about it, and they keep going on their merry lives, free to be passive aggressive with us in the future. So the following are a few ways that you can respond to someone who is passive aggressive in your life that you need to work on breaking that cycle with. And the reality is, we cannot change who people are, but we can change the way that they interact with us by the way we react to them. So this is just a reaction to their interaction that takes away that reward that they were looking for in your hurt reaction or stunned reaction or confused reaction, and gives them that kind of control. We're gonna just take it away so that there's no reward for them to have this kind of behavior with you in the future. And even though you can't change the fact that they're a passive aggressive person, you can, through your reactions, change the way that they interact with you. So, number one, first thing that you can say, and you can practice this because it takes a lot of courage to say it in the moment, but practicing it is really helpful. If someone says something passive aggressive to you or covertly rude or insulting, you just kind of look up and go, what a strange thing to say. And then silence. All this does is draw attention to the fact that they said something that was inappropriate in that moment. It doesn't show that you were hurt by it. It really makes them have to take accountability with what happens next. So again, it's just, what a strange thing to say. And then you move on, like it did not faze you. This will just kind of break up that cycle that they're used to of stinging and hurting and getting that upper hand. The next thing that you can say is, I don't understand. If someone says something passive aggressive, simply saying, I don't understand, prompts them to have to explain what they meant by that passive aggressive comment, which will make them realize that that was not something that was appropriate to say, especially if other people are around. Drawing attention to the fact that what they said was inappropriate is going to make them have to take ownership for that without you getting escalated or stooping to their level or showing your emotional reaction to it. So, I don't understand, and they can either explain it or they can move on from it. And it's almost as if you're just kind of slapping their hands like, ooh, no, we don't say that. because they didn't get the response that they were looking for. Next, and the next couple are a little bit more assertive. The first two you can just kind of say and move along. The next two are for if you have tried the first two and it's still not working, or you're dealing with someone who is more aggressively passive aggressive and it requires a little bit more interaction and forces their hand a little bit more to have to own up to it. So number 3 is, what are you trying to say? When they are passive aggressive, and you don't say it in an ugly way, but if they say something passive aggressive to you, or they're making fun of you in a way that isn't overtly rude but is still rude, asking them to explain, I'm not quite sure what you're trying to say. What was it you were trying to say? This puts all of that responsibility back on them. It is a deflection, and deflections in therapy aren't always good. But in this case, when someone is trying to get a certain reaction out of you, if you can ask them, what was the intention? What were you trying to say here? Then it puts them in a spot of having to explain that what they were trying to say was not nice. And this kind of turns the tables on that power dynamic. And then this last one, you're gonna have a lot of courage to do it, but it can really be powerful when you feel comfortable using it, is, how are you hoping I will respond to this? When they say something like that, asking, what were you hoping I would say? How were you hoping I would respond? What reaction were you hoping that I would have? This shows that they were saying something with the purpose of getting a reaction out of you. And we all know it probably wasn't a good reaction they were hoping for. Most of the time, people are just going to say, nothing, never mind, and move on. Let them do that. Don't push it. Don't get into a power struggle about it. Just say, oh, okay, well, let me know if you think about it, and keep going. What you're really doing is just calling out this inappropriate behavior and neutralizing it. This is not something you're going to win. It's not something that you are going to change in them, but it is something that you can say, when you do this with me, you do not get the reaction you are hoping for, so maybe don't do it with me anymore. I hope these 4 things really help with your response to passive-aggressive people. Trust me, practice them at home. Practice them with people that you can talk about this with. The practice really helps it become easier to do in the moment. And if you find yourself in the moment with someone who is passive-aggressive, forgetting to use these things, that's okay. When you replay it in your mind, because we almost always do, practice using one of these in that scenario, and that way you can get a little bit more comfortable with it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.